What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're 10 days in to 0.2.0 for Path of Exile 2's early access. So I just want to go over my thoughts on the game and the end game and all the different changes that they've made and how things are feeling. So the campaign was rough at the start, lots of people complaining. Then we had the interview with Zizarin where they butted heads a little. I was honestly a huge fan of this interview. I loved hearing the passion from, Zizarin, Jonathan, and Mark. I'd much rather have these guys kind of argue about things that they're passionate about than just sit there in the usual developer kind of PR controlled style. Hey, what do you think about this part of the game? It's great. I'm excited for people to try it. Like, no, I was really happy that Zizarin was giving pushback, saying, I don't agree with this. In my experience, this isn't this way. I'm hearing a lot of people, the fan base, say this and this. And I just really loved the interview. I started Lich with ED Contagion, and it was good. It did decent amount of damage. I got very lucky with gear early on, so I was, cooking, but it just was not fun. It was putting me to sleep. By the time I got to maps, I was falling asleep doing maps. I would go to put a map in and just look at the map device and just be like, I just don't really want to do this. So I just, I'd log out, play a different game. But I saw Lightning Spear, looked amazing, looked exactly like the kind of build I want to play. One button, screen wide clear. So I thought, I'm gonna buy some Twink gear, re-roll, and try this. Made it through the campaign, which even in Twink gear was kind of annoying still, because that was before the patches that we got um, this week. So hopefully the campaign's a lot better with those patches in. But yeah, made it through the campaign, got to the end of the acts, and Lightning Spear felt really good. The single target's amazing, clear is amazing, and yeah, I'm having fun building up this build. I think if you're looking for a build or you kind of already gave up on this update, um, definitely try out Lightning Spear. I, I know that almost 50%, I think over 50% of the player base is playing Lightning Spear now, but there's a reason for that. It feels very comfy and it's nice. When you hit those massive procs and you detonate a whole screen, or even monsters off screen are getting detonated. Um, it just feels great. It's a super fun build to play, and I think that's a major thing about this game. I want to play builds that are fun, that feel good and feel good to use. So definitely check out this build. Fubgun actually just linked a Twink setup that he's been using to level. I think he said he hit level 90 in like 7 hours. So I'll have a link in the description to both Fubgun's build guide that I've been following for my Lightning Spear Amazon, as well as his Twink leveling setup. One thing I wanted to chat about a little is when a build clicks. And I have this feeling in PoE 1 and I have this feeling in PoE 2. And there's something that when you're leveling up and you get to endgame and you kind of get your gear sorted, maybe you pick up a few pieces off of trade, or you craft a couple items, and then you get kind of you get your build in its kind of first iteration, right? You go into the map and you start killing packs, you start doing things, and it's that moment when a build clicks that I really love. And for me, ED Contagion just never clicked. Um, but as soon as I made the maps and I got the Lightning Spear working, it clicked. It's a lot of fun to play, and yeah, I just hope that we can get more builds that kind of give that feeling of like, okay, yeah, this is it. This is a good build. I'm about to have a lot of fun. You want to be excited about the not only the build you're currently playing as it is, right? That should be exciting, but then the possibilities of the build should be exciting as well. So, you know, PoE 1, when I get to maps and I'm first trying out whatever, but like a lightning strike character. When I'm first trying out the lightning strike, everything's going out, everything's killing everything. I'm starting to one-shot white packs of white mobs and things like that. And I'm like, damn, this is fun. I'm jumping around. I'm killing tons of stuff. Not only are you excited about how much fun you're currently having, you're excited about, man, where can this build go? It's going to be great. And Lightning Spear gives me that feeling. I think there's a couple other builds that people have been seeing. I've been seeing like Cold Snap on PoE Ninja. Some of the damages that these cold snaps have are insane. So I'm thinking that could be another good build. I know I didn't personally like it, but I think there's a lot of people that are enjoying ED Contagion. So if you are, it's awesome. I'm glad you're having fun. I think we just need more of these builds. We need more builds, and that'll happen. You know, GGG will, like they said in the interviews, it's going to be a season of buffs basically. So we're going to see a lot of stuff get buffed up to the level that they kind of want. They needed to nerf everything, and yeah, there were some outliers like Lightning Spear and like other stuff that squeezed through the cracks, but they kind of brought the whole level down a bit so then they can incrementally raise it up. And I just hope that we get more builds this season, especially concoctions. I'm biased because I had a ton of fun with Peaconk and with the ice concoction last league, so I would love to be able to play them again. Yeah, I just hope that we get more builds that give you that feeling of that click. You know, just that feeling of, man, I'm having fun right now, and I'm excited to have fun later. So I really hope that we get some more builds going, and please God, don't nerf Lightning Spear. I think half the player base would quit if they nerf Lightning Spear. Yeah, let's talk about endgame changes. I do think a lot of the changes are good, but I think right now, especially with the state of loot in the game, they're underwhelming. So I think the changes are good, and once we kind of see the loot get buffed a little, the baseline at least, because you're running tons of maps, you're not really getting it. I've dropped one divine this league. I've done like a few hundred waystones. So, I'm level 60. I was level 67 on my Lich, and I'm level 90 now, or halfway to 91 on my Amazon. Yeah, there's a problem with loot. Like, I still haven't gotten a perfect jeweler's orb. I've just been waiting for a perfect jeweler's orb. You don't really get much, for the maps that you're doing. So loot needs to be fixed. Jonathan just did a recent interview with Co Carnage where he talked about they asked him a question about the wisp and basically said that the wisps don't feel like they're doing anything. And Jonathan's reply was that it worried him because like he's checked the coding, he's checked everything, and it should be giving you basically 300% extra item rarity on the monster that it is. And if that's not working, then that means that the base kind of items or the loot system needs to be looked at. So he's going to look into it, and I'm sure we'll get a few buffs as far as loot and quantity and rarity goes. But yeah, right now it's kind of hard to tell how good the changes are, but I do think that the changes are a step in the right direction. The Atlas tree needs work. That's all I'll say. The Atlas tree does not feel good. It doesn't really feel like anything changes when I change the Atlas tree. I've tried boosting pack size, I've tried boosting quantity, I've tried boosting explicit modifiers of maps. I've tried going just strong boxes. I spec full strong boxes. I swear to God, I did math. It didn't feel like I was getting any more strong boxes than usual. Like it was still like one strong box a map. The main Atlas needs work, I'll say. And honestly, that also goes into the side atlases for things like ritual or delirium or other things, those specific trees. Can we just get one big tree, please? Like, I don't want to have to go fight some pinnacle boss in order to get 2 skill points so ritual stops feeling like complete ass. I want to be able to level up ritual as I play through the game. And right now it feels terrible. Please just combine the trees. Give us agency early on, be able to adjust and kind of play what we want. PoE 1 does an amazing job at this with the Atlas tree. So I know that PoE 2 can get there. But right now, those individual trees just feel like shit. I've been waiting to try and find I've been doing tons of ritual, and I still haven't found an invitation. So then I'm still on 0 points for my Atlas. Like that doesn't feel good. I'm still on 0 points. I'm on 0 points for all this stuff. So it's like doesn't feel good. That also relates to the next thing, which is the new Atlas quest to get all your Atlas passive points. And while I do like the idea of it, of going to these corrupted nexuses, and I do like these zones, how things turn to cleansed and stuff, and the cleansed monsters have a chance to spawn kind of a boss that you can drop a fracturing orb from. Having it tied to the quest feels bad because you have to travel so far just to find. I mean, sometimes you get lucky and they're like right beside each other. I think over here I had some that were like there was like 3. Yeah, there was like one here, one here, one here. So you can get lucky and there's 3. But I mean, you're still traveling through and between all these different points. Not to mention you want to travel to the tower so that you can juice all the maps in the area before you start doing them. It's just taxing. Basically, since the start, I have hated the Infinite Atlas. I hated it in last Epoch, and I dislike it just as much in Path of Exile. And I really hope that this is just something for early access and that the real end game will come with 1.0. I'm kind of enduring the Infinite Atlas as uh as I play, but it's not my favorite. This update did make it a little better. You know, I do like going through. I find, especially with the tower changes, there's a lot more clusters of maps that just have tons of stuff on them, right? So all these ones have bosses, they're all irradiated. So it is nice that you can go through and you're getting a higher concentration of maps with rewarding content in them. Problem is right now that the loot baseline and the content isn't that rewarding. So sure they'll buff that up and things will start feeling better, but yeah, I still think the Infinite Atlas just kind of isn't the way to go, but we'll see. It could just keep growing on me as time goes on. The new quest line, it's not fun. It's not fun. I'm on complete a tier 9 plus corrupted nexus. I've been doing tier 15 maps for like a very long time. So I still have to do 7 more. So I still have to path out and find 7 more of these areas. So I'm like looking in the shade. Does this one have any corruption around it? Can I see any corruption anywhere to find? Like, it's so tedious and honestly draining. I much preferred PoE ones, kind of gotta catch them all style of, you do all the different maps that there are. That's how you get your Atlas passive points. It feels a lot better getting a point after almost every map, and you're kind of building your way up, building your Atlas passive tree up as you go and as you play through. Whereas this just feels tedious. The zones are still very big. Basically, we either need a flat movement speed increase across all classes, 10 to 20%, just give us a flat movement speeding, or the zones need to shrink. That's just it, especially a lot of these endgame maps. It's really nice that the rares show at all times on the map, but I still like clearing the full area. I don't want to miss getting that unique researcher strongbox that people have been, that kind of you gamble with and it does the spin before it pops something out. People have been getting insane stuff from that, and I don't want to miss it because I'm just blazing through going for the rares and then leaving the map. You still basically have to clear the whole map to make sure you don't miss anything. So just make the map smaller. If you want to keep our move speed this low, that's fine. Shrink the amount of area we have to travel through. Or you can keep the area the same and boost our move speed so that it doesn't feel as bad traveling through those areas. To finish off, I know there's been a lot of negative feedback, but I do feel like this game is a lot closer to being amazing than it is to being bad. Despite all its shortcomings, despite, the friction and wanting to go for meaningful combat and all these things, we're close. We're still finding good builds every season. We're still on our way there, and I would still say that despite all the issues, once you find that build that clicks, like I mentioned before, you still get that core PoE feel. I wish the loot was more. I wish it was easier to kind of target things that I want to do, and I wish the Atlas tree was better. There's a lot of things I wish were better, but despite all that, I'm still having fun with 0.2.0. I'm excited for the patches that are only going to make things better. I think there was a big joke that went around when PoE 2 launched, and it's like a lot of people expected, this is going to be the worst the game's ever been. I think, Zizarin and Rax and people like that were saying that. Guys, don't worry. This is the worst the game's ever feel. And, like Jonathan said, they had to give us the medicine because the baseline was way too high from 0.1.0. So they had to give us medicine, which honestly made the game harder / worse than it was right away. But I think now is a point where we can finally say it'll never be as bad as this. Builds will only get more diversified. We'll only see more cool builds. We're only going to see more loot come to the game, more changes coming in. I do think that the game is still going to be amazing. You know, I'm still a GGG fanboy at the end of the day. So I still have a lot of faith in them into taking player feedback. Honestly, I like that there's a yin and yang at the heads of the company. You know, having Mark and having Jonathan, I think they're a great duo. And I know that, you know, they're going to do great things with Path of Exile too. Saying all that, last Epoch having a massive, massive new season on Thursday. So I am going to be trying that out. I'm excited to try a multi-strike smite build, mostly because it just looks like dual hand smite build, kind of strength stacker from PoE1. So I'm going to try that out. I'm not sure how good it'll be, but we'll see how far I can get. But yeah, I'm still excited about PoE. If you're an ARPG player, this is still a great time to be alive, you know? Lots of different experiences, lots of new seasons coming out. So I'm excited to play them. But anyways, I'm going to stop rambling, let you guys go. Let me know if you guys are enjoying the season. Are you playing Lightning Spear already? Do you find a fun build that you're playing? Did you quit? Do you hate it? Do you think PoE 2's dead? Do you think PoE 2's the greatest? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.